College taught me a lot about lesson planning, but no one warned me that I had 10 days to choose a health plan or how to use personal days. If you're a new teacher, I'm going to walk you through these must-dos and my top tips so you're not caught off guard. The first thing you need to focus on is healthcare. This is so important because some school districts give you options for healthcare and there are deadlines for when you have to choose. Take time to look through the options and decide what's right for you. This includes not just healthcare, but also dental care and even vision care. Make sure that you check the deadlines and that you submit your option. Some districts don't have options, you just are given a health plan. So if you don't have that, then you don't have to worry, but just double check. Once you have decided and submitted your healthcare plan, or you figured out what healthcare plan the district offers, you're going to want to make sure you understand all the components. What are the deductibles? How much will it cost for you to go to appointments? If you already have a primary caregiver, see if they're connected to the plan. If not, find a primary caregiver that you feel comfortable with. This is important because if and when you get sick, you want to have this ready to go. And this is something new teachers don't always think about. The first year teaching, you are exposed to a lot of new germs. And sometimes with that exposure to germs, you have to build up a bit of an immunity. So you might find yourself more sick the first year of teaching than you might in the third or fourth or fifth year. It's vitally important for you to get your health care in check because there's going to be a chance you're going to need help and you're going to need support. And when you're feeling sick, that's the last thing on your mind. It's really good to have that all set up so you're ready to go just in case you're not feeling well. So now you're prepared for your health care in case you get sick. But this moves us right into the next point, which is, are you prepared for how sick days work? And in general, how do leave policies work? When it comes to leave, there's two options, paid and unpaid. The two options under the paid leave are usually sick leave and personal leave. There may be others as well, but these are the basics. So you want to look and figure out, how many sick days do I have? Some districts give you a certain amount of sick days. Others will give you sick days and family sick days. And so you got to figure out how many days do I have and how do I access these? Now, along with sick days, you also have personal days. The difference between personal days and sick days is that personal days have blackout dates. So what does that mean? Blackout dates are dates that you cannot take off for personal leave. These are usually dates at the beginning or end of a school year or towards the beginning or end of spring break or winter break or 3-day weekends. Also, personal leave is for your personal needs. So it can be a mental health day, something else going on. You don't have to be sick to have those days off. So you want to identify how many of these days you have, and you also want to identify when you can use them. Another important piece to leave policy that I did not realize, and I always look back on it and I get really mad at myself. Some of these days do not roll over to the next year. For example, in my district, the personal days are for that year. If you don't use them in that year, they do not roll over to the next year. I find that I like to save a couple personal days for April and May because those are some of the most challenging times in teaching. That is a long stretch between spring break and summer, and it can feel very tiring. So if you're thinking about personal days, that's a great time to use them. But the biggest thing, like I said before, is to make sure you use days that won't roll over because those are your days and you deserve to use them. And those personal days are an important part of your mental health and well-being. After you checked out your leave policies, you're going to want to think about the calendar as a whole. So the next step is to look at your school's calendar. Most schools put this out many months before the school year begins. I personally keep a copy on my desktop that I can always click open, or I print out a copy and put it somewhere in my visual view. But for right now, go ahead and just look at it and review it. Check when winter break is, check when spring break is, check when school starts, check when school ends, check when you're going to have some 3-day weekends. Personally, you may have trips or things planned you want to do. And then on a practical note, you're going to want to think about lesson planning with that calendar in mind. You need to think about things like breaks, 3-day weekends, and that's going to affect how your lesson plans are created. Having that in the back of your mind is just a great piece to start your year. The last thing that you really need to know that they don't always teach you in college is salary. So every district has a salary chart, and the chart goes with how many years you've taught, and then moving to the right, how much education you have. And it's really important to look at that, understand how much you're going to be making, and then looking to the future. At this point, you're a new teacher, don't overwhelm yourself. But you can also think about in the future, do you want to get a master's degree? Again, don't stress out about this right now. You're just starting off, but just keeping that in the back of your mind. But for today, for right now, check that salary and make sure you know how much you're going to make. Don't just take the amount and divide by 12. You need to also take into account things like taxes and other things that are going to be taken out of your paycheck. So it's going to be less than the amount in the salary chart. That might be obvious to you, but if you're just starting out, maybe you forgot about that. So just a reminder, but you can at least get a general idea of how much you're going to make. And again, it can also also give you a good perspective for the future. So those are the things that you need to get done before school starts to help make sure you have a great school year. Not just your lesson plans, not just getting your classroom ready, but getting you ready, because you deserve to take time for yourself and you deserve to feel prepared for you. And this is one of the hardest things, because I look back now and think how much time I did not spend on this because I was so focused on what I was going to bring to the classroom and that first day jitters. And this is why I'm making this video, because I don't want you to be in the same place. So in summary, make sure you have your healthcare figured out, understand your leave policies, look at your school calendar, and check out your salary. If you have those 4 things, you're on your way taking care of yourself to have a great first year. And if you're looking for other ways to have a great first year, check out this video where I talk about how to have great classroom management. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.